patients had like technology for the long distance caregiving part of that during COVID. Like there's a grandpad, I guess they could FaceTime and stuff like that. Do you
Our
guys?
Well, again, we refer to our residents as residents because we are non-medical, so they are not patients. This is truly a senior living community. It's a senior apartment building that is all inclusive.
Oh,
The family that started our company back in '71, they were inspired by having mom on a cruise. How a cruise is all inclusive. So when you see our property, the property is very much like a resort when you drive up to it. We're not just some big brick building sitting in the middle of a parking lot. But yeah, our residents, they have their own phones, they have their own, devices. If somebody, we've been able to use our iPads and get, little Peggy, who's 96, to get to talk to her sister in Texas, who she hasn't seen in 10 years. So when we have that opportunity to facilitate that, we do. But again, many of our residents have those. One of the things that has really happened a lot during COVID, the children have gotten the parents the Alexas with the video camera. So
okay.
they can call their parents and be like, "Hey mom, what are you doing?" and see them right on the spot. So
Oh, that's
it's
Oh, I forgot to ask, do you have any medical personnel there, like aides or anything?
well, again, because we are strictly an independent community, we don't have aides
Independent,
as
yeah,
far as part of our staff. However, we
yeah,
do have personal care aides that work in the building that people could contract with them directly. And that way, if you need just a little bit of help, say you're having a bad week and I need a little help
yeah,
showering, there's an aide that you could do it and you would just contract with them for that service. So you're not
sounds
paying
good.
for a full-blown assisted living when
Yeah,
all I need maybe is someone to open my pills for me because my fingers are just not working well this week, or help me with a shower because I'm feeling unsteady. So you can have those additional services. But as I was shared with Warren earlier, this way you're getting what you want, when you want, and who you want. You're
yeah,
not stuck with whatever caregivers may be available and
yeah.
however they handle it. We have so many great care companies in this area that it creates really great customer service. So if you don't like your care, you can change it.
Okay, that's good. You're close to a lot of things too, aren't you? Your physical location. You're close to a lot of different places to go to. And
We do. I mean, we have, obviously the restaurants are kind of an issue right now just with COVID, but we have, we're in
yeah,
Leesburg right down the road here with some really great restaurants there. Of course, crossing the river, we have a really great relationship with the Pride of the Susquehanna. So
that's good.
the riverboat. So we go there a lot. When, again, I'm speaking in non-COVID times,
Yeah,
uh, out to the casino, the residents will go, some will go to gamble, some will go for the buffet. But that's okay. Do what you want with it. And they do a lot of different trips. They've done Gettysburg. We had a group that loves the Baltimore Ravens and another group that loves the Phillies. So they went to an O's Phillies game down in
that'll be
Maryland.
interesting.
So half came back happy, half not so much. But we've done Hershey Sweet Lights. So, and then what's really great too is a lot of local high schools, when they do their spring musicals, when they do their dress rehearsal, they invite seniors from local communities. So
Oh,
we
that's
try
nice.
to get to as many plays as we can. And actually that was just starting to happen when COVID kicked in. So we
Oh,
got to a couple before, the school shut down and everything happened there in mid-March.
that sounds very nice. Thank you.
Sure.
How does it work out with the transportation to doctor visits?
So our bus is running again, which is very nice. Not a lot of places are. And another thing too is we got a new bus about 1.5 years ago, and it has a wheelchair lift on it. And the amount of people that started using the bus because of that lift, they're not in wheelchairs, but they're using walkers, or they just have limited mobility and they're afraid to use the steps, those 3 or 4 steps to access the bus. That lift opened up the door for so many more people to start going out and being more involved and doing more things on their own. So, don't be afraid to ask to use the lift if it's a day that you're not really feeling, confident in your legs to take those steps. So what we ask our residents to do for doctoring is we ask them to make their appointments on Tuesdays and Thursday morning. And then they need to let us know at least 24 to 48 hours in advance. And then the schedule will be made as far as who needs to be at the front desk at what time. And then the shuttle will leave to take them to their appointments, and they'll come back for others. When appointments are finished, two things happen. Sometimes adult children are meeting mom and dad at the appointment, and they'll just bring them home. If not, they can either the resident will call our bus driver, or the the reception desk at the doctor's office can call. You know, he might say, hey, hold tight, I'm next door, I'll be right there. Or I'm 20 minutes away, I'll be there as soon as I can. But we get it all done. And we try to always keep our appointments and all of our activities for the bus in the morning, so everybody's back by lunch. Because we have so many people with so many different medications, you know, and just we want to make sure that everyone's here for their meals and that lunch is covered. So that way, you know, again, keeping that routine. But we will do some afternoon shopping, especially with the holidays. We will do extra bus trips and things to shopping centers. Right now, we're keeping that very limited to small stores. We're not hitting the Walmarts. We're not hitting the malls because, again, we're trying to maintain that COVID protocols.
Sounds good.
I think Target's going to be doing shopping by appointments, if I'm not mistaken. At least they're thinking about that because of COVID.
I shop online for Walmart.
You know, shopping online has become a huge thing here at Essex House.
Yeah.
And in our pre-COVID world, when packages would come, UPS, FedEx, they would take them directly to residents' apartments. Now they're all stopping at the front desk. We don't let those delivery people go into the building because they are a higher risk, because they're exposed so much more. So the packages are left here at the front desk. And if it's something that's manageable, we'll call a resident to come get it because we want them up and we want them walking. Yeah. We have another, and I shared with Warren earlier, I said, we have some residents that use Mobies or the little scooters in the building because they're aging in place. Maybe they have neuropathy and it's just difficult for them to make those long steps. But we have one lady, she's one of our 2 female veterans, and we had another gentleman who lived here who was a veteran, and he passed away, and his family wanted his Moby to go to another veteran. So she now has it, and she's so grateful that her name is Molly, and she delivers a lot of packages. She's got a little basket on the front, and she will take packages and deliver to other residents. So we call her the Molly Express. But it's just a really nice way that she's able to help out and give back as well, because someone was kind to her and had bequeathed this Moby to her to use while she's living here at Essex House.
Is there a purpose? You know, everybody has.
Absolutely. Yes. You know, and we do that too. We've been able to start small group dining again, so we can have up to 20 folks in the dining room. We've set the tables up strategically so everybody is social distance, but they are still sitting in large, you know, like 4 people, but they're very far apart, but it's working. We're encouraging residents to invite another resident to come join them. You know, we're trying to get everybody to come, and some are still afraid to come out, you know, or they're like the meal deliveries that we're doing. So, you know, but encouraging and getting others to support each other. You know, I did that challenge last week with some residents. I said, you've been down to the dining room a lot. I said, I challenge you to invite some folks who haven't been here. I said, we can tell them, but to have that invitation from someone to say, join me at my table, you know, makes somebody feel a little more comfortable. So she's been on a mission, and she's like, I got 7 now, you know. Wow. And that's the part of the community that is so great. And that's that word community. People are looking out for each other. They're not a bunch of nosy busybodies. They really want to make sure that everyone's living their best life, and however that may be. If it's a hello, or if it's someone that wants to live a little more recluse, they can, but they're looking out for each other, and they all want to just live their best life. And if it's with, you know, support of a cane or a Moby or a walker, or they're walking completely independently, everybody is accepted.
What about the grooming, like the haircuts and things like that? Is that part of the package?
Well, we do have a hair salon here on the 3rd floor. It is not part of the package that it's free to go there. However, she is an independent contractor, and her rent is extremely low. So her costs are extremely affordable. She'll come in early for me to do my hair before I have to go to work. And I will say, having a cut and color that I have, I'm paying a third of what I did
Wow.
at a salon at, you know, in Mechanicsburg.
Hmm.
And I love her work. She does a great job. She's not used to doing dark hair that often, but but she does barbering for the fellas. You know, she has little ladies that she knows their hair and how they want to have it done. And, you know, she's come in and done some extra work on a weekend because, you know, somebody's granddaughter's getting married and she really wants her hair done Saturday morning.
Mhm.
And here you see Deb coming in. Normally she's closed on Saturdays, but she would come in and make that exception and help out that person. So we have that. We have a chapel as well. Currently we have a Christian service on Sunday afternoons. So we have changed our dining room that we do not do the 20 people in the dining room in the evening. So that way we can actually use the dining room for a service. So that way more people could attend. And then again, there's activities. We have a small group. Everything now is small group. So instead of having one bingo that goes for a long time, we'll do maybe 3 small group bingos, and folks can sign up. So honestly, they end up, you know, you got a better chance of winning in the small group. But another one of the great services that we have that comes in here, we have a podiatrist, a local podiatrist who will come in once a month. So most folks, their Medicare covers for a podiatry visit or nail trimming every other month. So they can sign up and see the doctor here on site. And it just makes it very convenient for them, especially in the colder months or ugly weather days like we're having today, that they will have that appointment and they sign up ahead of time, and she keeps a full schedule that day. And if they need to have further, go ahead.
Is your place, excuse me, I'm sorry. Is your place like, is it monthly rent that you pay? It's not like you.
Yeah. Yes. When leases, when you first move into the community, the lease starts for 90 days. We ask for a 90-day commitment. Give us that good old college try, you know, and then after 90 days, it is month to month. Another one of the services
you don't have that fee. You don't have that fee. I think you said you don't have that fee. That was just
right.
An entry fee. They don't. That entry.
We don't. Yeah, we don't have the huge buy-in fees. We do have a small community fee in comparison, and it's about a month's rent. But that's an upfront fee, and it's a one-time fee. But we don't need to know how much money you have. We don't need to know what your life insurance is like. We don't need to know who your beneficiaries are. That's your business, not ours. So we just need to know you can pay your rent each month.
Your one bedroom is probably comparable to my large studio.
Okay.
Better deal at your place.
Well, and again, we have, you know, the availability, and it's where do you feel comfortable? Where, you know, what kind of services are offered? What's in the area? You know, does this feel like home to me? I love coming to work every day. You know, my general manager says he comes in and hangs out with his friends every day. You know, I get a hard time from a lot of residents who, you know, give me heck. And I was wearing bat ears today, and they all were telling me I was, you know, batty. And bat something crazy, and you know, I love it because it's sure, call me names, we're good with it, but we're always just trying to make sure that we're engaging and we're having a good time. And again, if it's, you know, the other day one of our residents, he was just really with his head, literally had his head hanging down. It was just so low, and I reached out to his daughter because as the leasing manager, I'm often the first person that meets everyone. And I get to know the children, and I called Janine and I said, hey, Dad just really seems down today. I go, what's going on? She goes, oh, and she lost her mother suddenly earlier this year. She says, today's their wedding anniversary.
Oh, he would be
so
down.
She was grateful that I noticed this with Dad, and grateful I reached out. And then we were able to, you know, kind of be there for him where he was never going to open up to us to tell us that that's what was going on. So being able to have that openness with family is really, you know, beneficial to all of us. We do have flu shots that, you know, we had CVS come up and do flu shots for us this fall already as well, as that's encouraged, and people could come in with their insurance cards and have that done. And then when we get out of COVID, we get to have fun times with like Caitlin and other folks from Fox Rehab, and then other types of services where they will do activities where they're actually also helping at the same time. They're checking someone's stability and their balance by doing a golfing activity, and maybe they'll see something, you know, there's a little new lady moves in and her walker is really high, and they go, you know that her husband call and that used to be his. Like, there's just no question. And they're there to help them and assist to just get things the right way for them. And they might be able to in turn offer, you know, help them get signed up to receive physical therapy to help them get stronger and be more mobile. Here's Caitlin.
Hi guys, I could talk a little more about, but yes, this is my home away from home. I'm from Pittsburgh and I moved out this area, and I've been here at Essex House almost 4 years, and I can honestly say this is the best job I've ever had. Being here, being a part of everyone's life, it's awesome. We also, as a PT/OT here at Fox, we also do different, like Tina was saying, different screens for your balance, but we also provide different informational sessions. We've done one on incontinence, we've done hydration, just different topics that have been requested for us to do. So we love doing those, being a part of the community, sometimes putting on happy hours or Christmas caroling, but they really try to include us here, and we enjoy it so much. It's been wonderful.
Caitlin,
So what she's saying, Fox actually has an office here in the building. So they are here with us. They have a therapy office. They can meet with residents in their apartments or bring them to the therapy office on site.
Now, this is Gil. Can I talk to Caitlin just for a second?
Hi, Bill.
Gil Friedman. Caitlin, we're patients, Laura and I are patients of Fox Rehab now, as you may know.
Do you have Kayla?
Yeah, Kayla.
Oh, we
just want to tell you that we really think we're getting something out of their treatment.
Oh, that's so great to hear. Wonderful. Keep working hard.
We both speak so highly of Fox.
But
Aw.
Laura, I could barely hear you.
The girls really enjoy their work.
Yes, they
They're
do.
very happy at Fox.
Oh, I'm really glad to hear that. We really, you know, we love our jobs. We love helping you seniors. There's a lot of us that certifications for Parkinson, programs called LSVT. I don't know if you guys were involved with that program.
We're going to be in November.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, you're going to love it. And maybe Warren can share some more
Yeah,
details
Warren.
on that too, or Diana.
Yeah. No,
But-
you girls are really good. He's been doing really good. He hasn't been slacking off. He's been doing
Good.
really well
I'll be
on
after
his
him.
own.
Good.
Yeah.
You know, those physical therapists are tough cookies. I'm unfortunately or fortunately married to one. I'm actually, you know, I'm wearing a boot on my foot. I'm wearing a boot on my foot today, and it's all because I thought I was going to get a foot rub from him because I thought my foot hurt, and he put me in a boot. So, you know, definitely a downside of PT, but they do amazing work here, and we get to see, you know, we had a couple move in here, oh gosh, almost 2 years ago, and the gentleman had some health issues, and he was actually in a rehab when the wife moved in, and then he came after he was released from rehab. At the time he was released, he was maneuvering in a wheelchair, but using his feet to scoot himself around. And the Fox team had continually worked with him, and they were able to get his insurance to continue to approve services because they were showing his continued improvement. It got to the point that I remember the one day we do have an elevator in the building, but we have a set of stairs, and I was at the top of the one day, and there's Caitlin walking up the steps with this gentleman, and I stop at the top, and he's like, "Oh, come on, we'll move over." I'm like, "Oh, no, I want to see this," you know. And it was such a great celebration to see him up again and walking and being able to get all the way up the stairs. He got himself to the point that he was actually driving again. And, you know, at the time he started driving again, his wife's health took a turn. So it was like the best blessing that it could be. When they say for better, for worse, for sickness and in health, she stuck by him and helped him get stronger, and he got stronger. And then when hers turned, he was actually able there to support her. So it was really a beautiful thing to see. But the strength that he had gained from continually working with the Fox team, and I think he still works with you. You know, he actually had a little setback. He had a little mini stroke and he had facial muscle issues. So Caitlin told us we all needed to blow him kisses. So
Work on his facial muscles.
yeah, you know, pucker up. So we're all blowing him kisses, and I'm like, oh, people are gonna think we're crazy, you know. And we told his wife, you know, we said, give him some kisses. She goes, no, you girls can keep kissing him. That's all fine.
I like hearing stories like that. They're very uplifting, but mine is kind of not uplifting. I overheard somebody the other day say that there's no hope for me. And I don't, you know,
Oh,
that's just,
we don't like hearing things like that.
I don't, and I
I'm
don't believe
sorry.
it either. I
I'm
don't
sorry
believe
someone said that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I shared with Warren, we do have some different folks living here with us that are living with Parkinson's.
Mhm.
And you know, something in the dining room that we do for the one lady, she has that special plate with the raised side, and she has her own utensil. So where our dining room, everything is served on china, she brings her plate down. When the servers take her order, they just take her plate with them. And they
That's
can take
nice.
that plate in, and then the meal is served on what the plate that works for her. And then she's able to just join in and have a meal just the same way. And no one's any the wiser. It's not a big deal's made about it. They just place the order, she hands the plate, and it comes back out. So, you know, we have had different folks living here where they've gotten to the point that maybe their dexterity is not quite working for them, that they can't handle their pills. We have a private caregiver that she can put the pills in the cup for them for the day, with times written on them, so they can just take them out of the cup instead of trying to handle them. So, you know, helping our seniors with Parkinson's. I shared with Warren too, we had another gentleman who was here. He was a World War II vet. And, you know, using the rollator was getting away from him. He wasn't able to keep up with it. So, you know, they suggested that he use a walker with tennis balls to slow him down some. And it helped him get along a little bit better. So it's, you know, it takes a village sometimes.
Yes.
But, you know, everything we do is with respect and with care and with love. And I think it shows in their response we get from residents, from their family members, when we have great, you know, care partners like Caitlin and all of the team from Fox, really, and that we can do these things. So, you know, we are open for tours, which is fantastic. We didn't get to for a little while at the height of COVID, but we are open for tours. If it's something you would like to come and visit with us, you know, I'd love to have you come over. I will have Warren, if he has all of your email addresses, I can send something out to all of you, just kind of an outline of what we have to offer here at Essex House, along with my contact information. With tours during COVID, they have to be scheduled. I can limit to only 2 people at a time. And we do ask that you wear a mask when you're in the building, but we are really excited that we are able to offer tours again and really come in, meet some of the folks. I can't offer lunch in the dining room, but you can have it in my office. So, or I can get it to go if you want to try a meal. Since everything here is chef prepared, it's always nice to try some of the food out as well.
Yeah, they give breakfast and lunch and dinner.
Yes.
Three things.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When we get the dining room opened up again for breakfast, I think that's what everyone's missing the most. Our breakfast is like a diner. It's eggs to order, toast to order. There's always a protein. There's always a starch. There's cereals. There's, you know, fruits and juices. It's really, right now we are not open for breakfast in the dining room, but all meals are delivered. So you are getting a hot meal for breakfast every day. And then at lunch and dinner, you have 2 choices. Today there was a baked fish and there was also a roasted pork. That was part of the lunch today. Our chef loves to bake, so all the bread is made from scratch. All the desserts are made from scratch. So you kind of can gain the instead of the freshman 20, it can be the senior 20 when you first move in, because there's a lot of options. And that's the biggest complaint I've heard from folks, where there was a lot of choices. I think I ate more than I should have. So, which that's kind of a good complaint.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's a panic button too, isn't there?
Yes. Yeah. So in years past in our building, we had those pull cords like you see in a hospital, like in a bathroom in a hospital. We had those in the apartments, but a pull cord on the far north side of your apartment wall does you no good if you fall over on the south side. So we've gone to the medical alert call buttons. They work anywhere in the United States. And the feature that I like most is that it's waterproof. So you can actually wear it in the shower. Caitlin just picked one up. So it's this big.
Oh, wow.
And it's a two-way communicator. So when you press the button, you're actually communicating through the device itself, not a base station out.
No. Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Is that for Patty?
Sorry about that.
That's
That's
okay,
okay.
Patty.
No, so yeah, the medical alert call buttons, they work wonderful. We've had residents that they've used them when they've had a fall and they need a lift assist. I have a lady who she doesn't like walking outside in the dark, and she has a little dog because we are pet friendly, and she would press the button and just have somebody talk with her because it doesn't go directly to 911, it goes to the call center. So in December when it's dark at 4:30, she's walking the dog and she's got somebody on the phone with her just to make her feel better on the call, the button. So it can be used for multiple purposes, but it is included with the rent.
Pays for the service. Pays for the service.
Pays for the service.
Medical alert.
It is part of your rent. It is included. So yeah, one less bill you have to pay. Again, at Essex House, everything except the phone and the internet is included in your rent. We do offer Wi-Fi in the center of the community, but if you want it in your apartment, it's really best to have your own. That way you have your own secured line, especially if you're doing your banking and different things. You really want to have yours secured so that, somebody can't drive up to the building and log into a lot of different accounts by logging into the public Wi-Fi.
And if you have your own, you could have a camera up there. Right? Your family could install cameras.
Yeah. And that's where like the Alexa camera can
Right.
be used, and people have that with the Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like the whole thing is like an all-inclusive resort, like you're saying, like a cruise ship.
Exactly. That's where it came from. When they started back in 71, there was no such thing as retirement living. There was just nursing homes. There wasn't this great opportunity for senior living. And Warren, I shared with you, I said, we have one gentleman here he's about 59. And as a teenager, he had a traumatic brain injury. And, he gets therapy from Caitlin and, but he has no short-term memory. So having the routine of meals and the support that we offer here is perfect for him because it's just what he needs. If it wasn't for Essex House and, the opportunity for the independent living, he would have been institutionalized in some group home somewhere. And I can't imagine that, knowing him and his personality and how wonderful he is, to have been, kind of locked away in that type of setting, which is what would have happened to him if it were 20 years ago or 30 years ago. So it's nice to be able to be 55 and up. So even for someone like that, he
I
could
was
be here.
50 I was 59 when I came here to Ecumenical.
What's that?
I was 59 years old when I came here to Ecumenical.
59.
Really,
59. Yeah.
it was really an adjustment,
Sure.
So I think a lot of people are curious about the procedure. If there's another pandemic after this is done, is everybody going to be locked in again, or is that not going to happen?
So I can't tell you what will happen, but I can tell you what did happen, because who knows what the protocols will be, because those all keep changing on us all the time, by a state, by a federal, CDC, all of those things. Because we are strictly an independent community, first and foremost, we did not receive government funding, which means we did not have to bring people in from a rehab or different things or hospital that were diagnosed with COVID. So because we didn't get the funding and because we are strictly private pay, we weren't forced to have to do that. And that of course helped keep us, COVID free this entire time. What happened here at Essex House, we first went into self-isolation, where we asked residents to stay in their apartments. Of course, we are independent, so they still could come out. They could still leave the property if they wanted to. We cannot force you to stay in your apartment because we are strictly independent and non-medical. Many did do the self-isolation. Of course, we encourage them to be walking around, but in small groups or individually, and they would have their masks on, and we were keeping them protected. We did not have visitors in the building for a couple months. We did, however, if you had a caregiver, and that could be a daughter, a son, it could be Caitlin, it could be a home visiting nurse, all of those things, those caregivers could come in to perform whatever care it is that you needed. Even if it's just filling your pill box and it's something your daughter does, they would have been allowed to come in. They would have done a COVID screening and had their temperature taken, and they would have had to follow the protocols that we require, that they're wearing a mask. And at that time, we were asking them to wear gloves as well. As we went through COVID and we started what was called our recovery stages, when we went into recovery stage 1, we were having guests. Oh, and by the way, when we were in that we couldn't have visitors in the building, that also happened around Mother's Day. We had a huge parade outside. We called every family member, come visit, even the men, we wanted their family to come too. We have posters, they were here with posters and bullhorns and cowbells, and all the pets, and we were around the building, and then most of our apartments have balconies or patios. So the residents were out there. The ones that didn't have a balcony, we made sure that we strategically located them so they could see. If they were on the back patio but separated apart, but we made sure everybody that wanted to see the parade could get out and do that. As we started our recovery, we were allowed to start small group dining. We originally started with 9 people, and now we're up to 20. And I think as long as the COVID numbers stay the way they are, we're looking to be going to 30 here in the next month. But we did the small group dining, and then family members were allowed. First, we would set up outdoor seating areas where they could visit, and then eventually we had it where you could have up to 2 visitors in the building. Again,
How long do they get? Go ahead, I'm sorry. How long do they get to visit?
Right now, as long as they want.
Not 20 minutes.
No, we're not limiting on time. No.
It's 20 minutes here.
Wow. No, that's a
Can't say
shame.
much.
By the time you get started, it's done. Now, when we were just allowing caregivers only and say the daughter comes in, Arlene's daughters would come in to help her shower. They would come in, help her shower, finish the task, and they would go. They wouldn't stay and visit for all afternoon, but they would just come in as a caregiver in that sense and take care of her and help her and go. But no, they can have visitors come in and they can stay, again, we're asking them to keep their masks on in the building and in the apartments. Our seniors can leave if they're going out to stay with a family member, as long as it's within the state protocols right now of the different states they can travel to if they wanted to. We do quarantine, or we ask to quarantine if they traveled outside of that state, or if they've been at hospital or at a rehab overnight, then they would be asked to quarantine for 14 days in their apartment. All meals and everything would be delivered, but of course, if they have a doctor's appointment, anything like that, they could leave. But again, we're just doing our best to keep them safe and keep everyone else safe.
Well, if somebody stayed overnight with their daughter or something, would they have to quarantine 14 days?
You mean like if the senior left the building and stayed with their daughter?
Overnight, yeah.
No. Now, as long as it's within the states where the protocols are, and this is current protocol, it could change tomorrow. I don't know. But right now, as of today, no, that would not be a problem. We had residents that go on vacation. Now, we asked the family members to make sure that they have been doing their best to stay in their bubble, to keep them protected.
Well, some lady here had a mini stroke or a stroke, and she had to go into quarantine. When she came back, she's overnight at the hospital. I don't think that's really right.
That she had to stay in quarantine because of
14 days. I don't know anything about strokes, so I think the last thing you would need would be put in your room for 14 days.
Hang on, we're trying to plug in. We're losing battery, so we're trying to plug in real quick. Sorry, as you're getting a look at Caitlin's palm. Well, again, we need to follow some protocols to keep the majority safe. And
So
if we have
that's
somebody
the
that
state protocol, then
that is
that.
right.
Because you're still licensed. You just don't have the funds that the government can tell you what to do, but you're still you're still regulated.
Yeah. Well, and again, we're following senior living and CDC protocols.
Right.
That's good.
Because we are non-medical, but we are still following those. Our company was really ahead of the game. We're part of Holiday Retirement, which there's 260 communities across the United States. So we're part of that, and our company really spearheaded a lot of the protocols that went into place. And we were acknowledged by the CDC and state governors because of how quickly we reacted and how quickly we did things to keep our residents safe. But when you're out at a hospital or you're out at a rehab, you have a higher likelihood that you could
Yeah.
have contact with someone because
Right.
that nurse was just in 3 other rooms and
Mhm.
someone could have been. So for your safety or someone's safety, if they have to come back in quarantine, that's a two-way street.
Yeah.
It's keeping them, because they may be more susceptible right now, keeping them away from others, but keeping them, if they are carrying the germ, that they're not sharing it. It's unfortunate, but it now, I had a gentleman who had to go out and get a pacemaker. So he's under 14-day quarantine. He did his mail-in ballot, but I'm teasing him that we will quarantine him so he can't vote.
I like to
you know-
quarantine some people.
Yeah. So his daughter has come in to help out. So he's quarantined that he can't come out into the community. He can't come out into the common areas. He can go out on his balcony. He can be in his apartment. His daughter can go in and see him. When she leaves, she goes straight out the door. She's not visiting with anyone or anything else.
Oh, yeah.
So even though he's quarantined, he's not being isolated that others aren't seeing him. You know, if they came back from rehab and Caitlin and Fox picked them up as a patient, even under quarantine, they're going to work with them in their apartment. So they're not just locked away.
You have a good plan. It sounds like it's really working.
Knock on wood, it's working. And again, we've been COVID-free the entire time. Yes.
They're making Dave do laundry.
Oh.
He's folding the clothes. Look at
So Justina, you regulated as a hotel then, as far as your license?
So we aren't, I shouldn't say, there is a license. It is, we're a senior living community.
Uh-huh.
So again, because we're non-medical, we do not have that type of state licensing that is required for medical personnel. Oh, another great thing is when we were built with all the fire safety features in a senior living community. Our walls and our ceilings all are fire safe, and the doors at each apartment are fire safe doors. And then we have drop doors throughout the hallway. By having this in place, we don't have to practice fire drills.
Oh, nice.
That's like the
That's
best
great.
thing ever.
They drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so we don't have to practice fire drills. Now, you know, West Shore Bureau, they've come in, they've done their own little fire drill, so they know the lay of our land. You know, we have a great relationship with EMS, with first responders, with police, so they really know who we are and know our residents too. And it's a really nice relationship to have that. But yeah, we don't have to practice fire drills.
Good. Do you
Caitlin
think
just said she didn't know that.
do you think with
She's
Pennsylvania is the oldest state, has the oldest population? We're number 1 or 2 or something like that. Did you
Yeah.
see more places like yours going up? It's going to be a need for independent living, but
Well, I mean, there are other ones being built in the area. What I love about us is that, you know, our company, when it started in 71, we were the very first independent living in the United States.
that's great.
So that we were the pioneers and came up with the whole concept and everything is just something that I'm really proud of.
Oh.
And again, I always think that we're just kind of like this blue collar community. We're a community. We're not a facility. We're a community. People are working and living together. But we're doing that in a way so that people are really living their best life. And, you know, we started all of this because we wanted people to be able to do it where they can live affordably, but live a great senior life.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you.
So, Caitlin just whispered something to me. We don't have it available right now because of COVID, but we have a travel program with our company. And our parent company is Holiday. So think of Holiday as the Europeans call that for vacation. And our communities, we keep a guest suite in them. And then when you are a resident in one of our communities, you can go and travel and stay at another community for a week at a time at no cost to you. You're paying your rent at your home, but you can go and stay there in the guest suite, enjoy any activities you want, all the meals that you want to enjoy, or just the lodging. And that's included. So we've gotten to really meet some great people. And if you plan it right, we got like 12 communities in Florida. You could spend 12 weeks in Florida if you just bounce around from one to one to one. So
There
it
you
is
go, Patty.
Yeah.
Get your bags.
so hopefully we'll get to offer that again. But obviously with COVID going, like we're not even allowed, like we're not permitted to go. Like my assistant manager was out with an injury for a while, and we couldn't even have someone from another community come in to help cover for her like we normally would, help each other out.
Oh, yeah.
Head down towards Philly and cover one, or out towards Pittsburgh. We stay home. We're in our own bubble. This is our community, and we're focused on that. But at some point, hopefully the travel program will be able to be reinstated once we're all through this, within our country.
Mhm.
Anybody else have any questions? Anything? I guess so. What it is, the ones that you pay $250,000 up front, and then you don't pay that. That's the CCR.
Yeah, the CCRC is a continuing care retirement community. And when you do that, obviously, then you're still paying a monthly rent.
Right.
They will say they'll take care of you for the rest of your life. Well, I better hope so if you're giving that kind of money to them.
I have to get it first.
And maybe senior living isn't exactly what you want. And that's why our leases start at 90 days. Give us a try.
Okay.
But I've had so many folks, not so many, I've had a handful of folks leave us with all of this COVID to go live some other holiday communities in the US and some just to other parts of the US to be closer to their children.
Mhm.
We have a couple that's going to be unfortunately leaving us the end of this month because their son's in New Jersey. And New Jersey's been a yo-yo with Pennsylvania as far as, is it a restricted state? Is it open?
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
restricted? Like, I swear to God, the son called one day. We said, sure, come up. And by the next day, he wasn't allowed in the building. So they're moving down to our sister community in New Jersey. So they'll be closer to their son. And then they're within the same state and they'll have the same protocols.
Do you have any places near Cape May, New Jersey? My favorite place.
Ours is we have one in New Jersey and it's in Voorhees.
It's pretty close.
I don't know where that is in comparison
Well,
to Cape May. I know Voorhees is just across their bridge from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Because
Atlantic City.
I've actually stayed in that community when my daughter was going to school in Philly, and they wanted to charge $800 a night for a hotel room for graduation weekend. So we stayed 20 minutes away across the river, and it worked really well for us. So it's a nice, that travel plan is also offered to employees. So I've taken advantage of it myself.
Primarily in the East Coast.
What, Laura?
Primarily in the East Coast.
No, actually, we're not. We started in Portland, Oregon. So we're across the country. I think we're in 38 or 42 states. Cool.
But the website's very informative. Everybody should look at that because it doesn't.
What is the website, honey?
What?
What's the website?
It's their website.
I can send it over to you, but it's holiday and then it's a / for Essex House. But I can, send out some information again if you want to. If Warren has your emails and you're all okay,
I'll send it out.
I'm happy to send it out to you and correspond. And again, if you'd like to come visit, if you know anyone else that is looking for retirement living, we have a wonderful referral program too. There's places like A Place for Mom or caring.com. We see them advertised.
Yeah.
They always do it for free because we have to pay them if somebody moves in with us.
Right.
So that's why they'll do it free as a service. I'd much rather keep that money local. I'd much rather pay somebody local versus somebody in her robe in Arizona, working from home.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for that phone. So, the referral program is if you refer somebody to live with us and you call me and you say, hey, I have this person, give them a call, or, when they live here for 3 months, when they fill their contractual lease of the 90 days, we pay you $1,000.
Warren, we can get Kenny. We'll tell Sean to get his dad. He's been trying to get him somewhere.
It was very interesting, but I have to leave now. Go to my next group.
All right, she hops around.
Warren and Diane, I'll
We'll
see you
tonight.
tonight.
We'll see you
Okay.
tonight.
Y'all.
Take care. It was very interesting.
It's very
I might move.
You might move.
Yes, you know, it was very good.
You know, we're laughing about that. That's your mom in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So last summer, you know, the non-COVID, remember 2019 when it was
Uh-huh.
real, we actually had fun. Last summer we had somebody that lives locally here. Actually, he goes to my church. His mom lives in Florida and she moved there. She's there with a bunch of friends. But the man I go to church with, he had a daughter graduating college. That one was getting married as well. There was also a baby coming with another daughter, and grandma wanted to be here for the summer. So, but she didn't want to live in that house of chaos. So she came here and she did a 90-day lease. You know, we knew she was going to move out in 100 days. So she gave her notice at the right time, but she was able to come here and be a reverse snowbird. She came for the summer and then went back to Florida. The plan was she was going to do that again this summer because she made such great friends here and had such a wonderful time, and then eventually move here and leave Florida. But unfortunately with COVID, she stayed in Florida this year. But it's, you know, it's a neat way to be able to give it a try. So see, mom could come up for 3 months and not stay with you.
Thing is, I like my mother-in-law. I like her here.
Well, we joke about that. Our general manager's mother-in-law lives here, and I'm like, he still comes to work every day. You know,
Awesome.
he's like, he
Great.
says we have 112 or 118 residents, and he goes, I love 117 of them, and then there's my mother-in-law. You know? But you know, Caitlin works with her too, and she's really funny. She'll sit outside my office and she'll go, do you like Ryan? And I'll say, I have to. He's the boss. And I said, you? And she goes, I have to. He's my son-in-law. You know, and he's saying, feeling the love, ladies. So, you know, it's that kind of relationship. If we need to be serious and we need to be, you know, there for someone. One thing that I didn't touch on that we were able to do during COVID, I had 3 residents that had hospice.
Yes, talk about that.
They were able to be here. This was their home. Their children were able to be with them, even during when we weren't allowing visitors. Their children could come in as long as they passed the screening and be with their parent. And to be able to offer that and have that they were here at their home and their children were by their sides when they left this earth was the best thing we could ever have. Especially this summer when you had folks passing away and the kids had to say goodbye on an iPad.
Right.
And they didn't get to be with them, you know, and it just, it to me, that meant more than anything. I've lost both of my parents. I've been through it myself. So to be able, well, to see what was happening to some folks and the heartbreak of it all, but to be able to see what we were able to do here, and those folks were able to have hospice in, they were able to have their children with them. It was immeasurable. So it's again that catch-22 of being strictly independent, that we could do that. If we would have been medical, they wouldn't have been allowed in.
Right.
So independent keeps us in control. Yeah.
Good to know. I didn't know the girls worked there. It's nice to know where they work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you need to find them. No.
No, I enjoy, they do great jobs. And word of mouth is the best advertisement.
Oh my
And we're
gosh,
very
absolutely.
happy. We're very happy.
You know, and like I said, the resident that came in scooting in the wheelchair to the point that he was using a walker and then climbing stairs, he's like their poster child of success stories, you know, and back driving again. It's just phenomenal to see the work that they do.
Great.
Plus, I'm partial to physical therapists because
Yes,
I
you
have
are.
to.
Oh, there's Dave. Did you? All right.
Dave, you have any questions?
No.
No.
Dave's busy. He's doing his laundry.
Your wife's telling you to go.
See y'all later. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time today.
Thank you. It was great talk. Great.
Thank you.
Likewise, thank you. Warren, get me the emails and I'll be happy to send a kind of a little wrap up out and a link to our website as well. I'll even send a video tour of one of our apartments.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh,
And we'll do
that'd
the
be great.
podcast
Okay, yeah,
sometime next
absolutely.
week. Great.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
So nice having you here.
All right.
Thank you. I'll see if I can get my camera figured out before then.
Have a good day.
All right.
Nice meeting you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Shut it down.
You certainly asked the right questions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good talk. All righty. It's good seeing everybody.